Okay, it's Justice Amegashi, and we are continuing from where we were yesterday. It's about healthy eating for healthy living. My name once again is Justice Amegashi. So let's continue from where we were. So I spoke about all this yesterday. So we are continuing. Okay, I was at the ABC of healthy living, and I said that the first thing you should do is to aim for your fitness. You should aim whether you are in a healthy weight range or whether you are underweight. So you should be aiming at becoming or moving your weight back into the normal weight range. And that's to aim for fitness. Then I said to build a healthy foundation means you should seek advice from experts. You shouldn't go to anybody at all for weight loss. There are things they are selling in the market. There are programs that are going on where they put people on some particular diet or concoctions that may affect them. Yeah. Okay, so all these things are very important to your health. The last one that we spoke about yesterday was to choose our food sensibly, where we spoke about we shouldn't take or go in for refined carbohydrates, we shouldn't go in for high fat foods. Those are just two examples. So you continue from here. Now, we are going to elaborate more on aiming for fitness. So you have to aim for a healthy weight, which I have already spoken about. Secondly, you have to put physical activity into your everyday life. It is very important to be physically active. I've mentioned yesterday's or the previous presentation that some people go to work and sit the whole day without any form of physical activity in their life. So when you are aiming to be fit, you have to make sure that physical activity is in your life. So how do I know I'm in a healthy weight range or I'm not? So this is how you will know. So this formula is called a BMI formula, where we compare your weight to your height in meters square. So you can look at this. So taking your weight, maybe your weight is 50, so 50 over, so maybe your height is 1.5 meters, so over 1.5 meters squared. So when you punch this on your calculator, you get a BMI. So that BMI, maybe you had 22, your BMI to be so maybe your BMI was 22 kg per meter squared. So if you have this as a BMI, it's just telling you whether your weight is good for your height. So let's continue from here. Another thing that can tell you whether you are in a healthy weight is your waist circumference, where you measure the distance around your waist. You measure the distance around your waist. It will also tell you whether you are in a normal range or not. Then we have the hip circumference, where you measure from the protruded part of your buttocks around. That also tells us something about your weight. Then we have the weight to hip ratio. It's a ratio. So maybe after measuring your waist, you had 90 centimeters. So waist over, maybe your hip was bigger than your waist, so maybe 90 over, your hip was 120, so over 120. Wherever you get, there will be interpretation for it, which I'll talk about it later on. So let's continue. Another one is the total body fat. So the amount of fat you have in your blood or in your body is the total body fat. Yeah, this one. So, and then there is another one called the visceral fat, which is this. The visceral fat is the fat that is around your abdomen, So all the ladies want to have a flat tummy. It's because they have stored a lot of visceral fat over there. So this is a fat that's around your organs, your intestine, your liver. So it is very dangerous. This visceral fat is very dangerous. It's important you get rid of, or you reduce your visceral fat levels. So it's very, very important. Now we are continuing. Another one is the body shape. Depending on your shape depends on several factors. Now, when you have so much visceral fat, it's going to give you a particular shape. When you don't have so much visceral fat, it's going to give you a particular shape. So looking at your shape, it can give us an idea whether you are having a healthy weight or not. So let's continue. Now, these are the BMI ranges. After doing your calculation, weight over the height in meters square, when you have a BMI of less than 18, it's telling us that 18.5 is just an indication that you are underweight. When it's between 18.5 to 24.9, then you are in a normal range. Then when it's between 25 to 29.9, then you are overweight. And then when it's greater than 30, then you are obese. Now, obesity is in classes. We have class 1, class 2, and then class 3. The 30 is just class 1. So when you are moving forward, there are class 2 and then class 3. The higher your class, the higher your risk of developing other non-communicable diseases like diabetes, hypertension, high cholesterol levels. Now, these conditions are dangerous because they lead you to other conditions like heart disease, stroke, and other conditions that can kill you. When you look at the government or the president's address, he made mention of the fact that the people who are dying from this COVID-19 is because they have this condition, they have these non-communicable diseases, or they have these underlying conditions such as the hypertension, the diabetes, which means that it is very important we look at these conditions. And overweight and obesity is a determinant to this condition. They are, before someone who is overweight or obese is at a higher risk of developing these conditions than someone who is in a normal range. So let's continue. Now, with the waist circumference, this is how it's done. So this is how, maybe you want to do a waist circumference in your house, this is how it's done. So when you measure it and it's 88 and below, then you are in a normal waist circumference, which means your weight is in a healthy range. But maybe you've measured it and this is how your tummy look like, and then you've measured it and you are having more than 102. That's for the males. When you're having more than 102, then there is a problem there. You are having so much fat stores at your abdominal region. Now, I spoke about the body shape. The required body shape is the apple shape. So when you look at your shape and you see that you are a pear shape, when you are like this, like a pear, it's telling us that you are having too much abdominal fat. So you have to look at it. Now, the last thing is physical activity. It said you must aim to be physically active each and every day. Get active, stay active, or become even more active. I made mention of the fact that some go to work and they sit the whole of the day, which means that now, after listening to this lecture, you don't go to work and sit the whole of your day. Maybe if you have a car that you drive to your home, maybe you wake up in the morning, you have to walk around before driving, or you come to work, you have to walk around. Some of us have shops that we sit and just direct people. From today's lecture, you're not going to sit in your shop and be directing people. You are going to be physically active. You have to work, you have to be active and then stay active. It's very important. The required amount of physical activity you are supposed to do is you can start from 30 minutes for almost every day, or 45 minutes for 5 days in a week, or 150 minutes in a week. Yeah, that's the required amount of any exercise you are supposed to do. Now, exercise or physical activity doesn't mean you should be running around. It doesn't mean that you should be carrying metals. that doesn't mean physical activity. Physical activity is just you have to make some movements that you don't normally do. For instance, walking briskly. Brisk walking is a kind of physical activity. Dancing is a physical activity. Climbing staircases, they are all forms of physical activities. So it's not necessarily running on the streets that we say you are physically active. You can skip. You can uh, you can just dance in your room and walk around. It's a form of physical activity and it's a healthy living. So these are some of the physical activities. And then those in Ho, if you are in Ho, you can contact me. On Saturdays, there are going to be physical activities, or there are going to be um, aerobics training and some form of training for all those who want to lose weight, and they are located in Ho. If you are in Ho, okay, so these are just some forms of physical activity you can do in your home or in your comfort zones. So I'll end this one here. In the next presentation, I'll talk about building a healthy foundation, which is also a very important step. So thank you. If you have any questions, any contribution, you can send it. I'm glad to answer all the questions. Thank you.